Good morning and welcome back to Baz Does a Euro Football. Yeah, let's talk about the Scotland game last night and let's talk about how shite we were. But first of all, I think everyone pretty much in Scotland pretty much feels just like this.
Not natural, man.
It's a great outdoors.
It's great outdoors. Fucking brilliant being Scottish. Oh, let me see.
And us.
Doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It's shite being Scottish.
Yep, it pretty much is, because when you follow the national, and I've got a lot of mates who went to Germany and follow Scotland. I've got cousins that have been in the Tartan Army for years. They don't go to Scottish football. I'll be honest, they don't go to Scottish football. They follow they are part of the Tartan Army, and got hats off to them because everywhere you go. And fuck it, it's just there for the piss up, isn't it? Anyway, let's talk about the Scotland game last night and let's listen to Stevie Clark. Let's listen to Stevie Clark because I think he's fucking lost the plot. I think Stevie Clark is a manager. Now, it was okay qualifying. Qualifying, yeah, it was all fine and dandy, but we had a lot of friendlies since then and we've been woeful. We've been absolutely woeful. And I'm going to talk about the setup of the team last night because he was asking for trouble for the first minute. The very first minute of the game, he was asking for trouble. But let's see what Stevie Clark had to say for himself in the press conference after the game last night.
Like in the dressing room after that, obviously it's not going to be assessed by this game solely. How do you pick the players up going into two very important games?
How do you think the mood was? Disappointed? Feel as though we've let
He sounds like the Rangers captain Tav, doesn't he?
ourselves down. We're better than that. We're a better team than that we showed tonight, and hopefully we can show that in the next two games. So we have to go away. This is always going to be a tough night for us to get something. We need 4 points from the next two games, and that's what we focus on.
Interesting. I mean, they obviously set out the target before the competition started. They knew playing Germany was going to be difficult, but let's talk about the way that he had set up the team before we listen to any more of them. He was setting up with what was meant to. He was sitting with five at the back, and at times in Scottish football, when you see teams do that, there's only going to be one winner, and it's definitely not the team that sits with five at the back. And we all know that in Scottish football because there's many teams try it on a weekly basis. Now you're going to say this is nothing like Scottish football. This is international football. Well, Stevie Clark had four midfielders last night. And on paper, it was a fucking good team. On paper, it was a good team. But Stevie Clark, in his wisdom, had the four midfield players sitting tight in the middle of the park. So the wingers, the German wingers, could just run past the midfield of Scotland all day long. If Germany were looking for an easy ball out, it was hit it out to the wingers. We had nobody on the wing. Why take James Forrest to the Euros and then play such a short midfield? If anything, he should have played a 3-5-2. He should have played a 3-5-2, if you ask me, and just went for it. I mean, he's going to go defensive-minded, and it was interesting that he says that he never looks at stats after games, which I thought was unbelievable from a professional manager to not even think about stats of a game, even though the stats were terrible. But let's see what more the one and only Scotland manager is saying to it.
Yeah? Any more? Yeah. First row here.
It's your toughest night as Scotland manager?
No, your toughest night as Scotland manager. The fucking question is that?
No, I've had tough nights before. I'll get over it.
When the players go over it, they lift themselves and go over this quickly.
One question, please.
I would think so.
Okay.
And I've never doubted my players. Never, ever.
Hi, Radek Silmaré, 93 Mint. What would you like to say to the fans of Scotland? Thank you so much.
Maybe sorry.
Keep the faith. See you at the next game.
Last three questions, please. Martin, you've got your hand up.
Third row, please. Here.
Oh my God. This is unbearable to watch.
Steve, the UEFA stats say Germany had 19 shots, Scotland didn't have any, even though you scored. Is that the sort of, in terms of while you've been manager, the sort of the least Sort of the worst game in a way, in terms statistically, that you can imagine.
What's the question?
In terms of the statistics, not even having a single shot, is that since you've been Scotland manager, is that the
I
worst?
tend not to look at statistics.
We never had one shot on goal, Clarkey. And it's funny how the Rangers fans think that Steve Clark's some kind of alcoholic. And I was talking to a mad Rangers fan last night. The first time I've met a Rangers fan out here, and he thinks that Steve Clark's an alcoholic.
No, it's not something I look at straight after a game. But somebody told me their expected goal was less than 2. Don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. So it tells you how clinical the German team were with the chances they got.
Amongst everything else, are you disappointed you just couldn't find a way to stay in the fight?
It's that fucking twat for the BBC that should never have nothing to do with football because he's a rugby man.
Listen, the game ran away from us very quickly. Obviously, conceding the third with the sending off as well was always going to make it a difficult night. After that, it was about damage limitation. And
Clarkey, right, the game ran away from us after 5 minutes. Anybody with any kind of football knowledge that watches football know that the way that you had the team set up was you were there for the taking. You were there for the taking. We had the odd ball up to Che fucking Adams, and it was woeful. It was absolutely woeful. If you watch SBFL and teams will sit back against Celtic and Rangers, because let's face it, we're talking about Scottish football, we're talking about the Scottish team, and the teams that sit back, they never get anything. They never get anything at all. And you set the team up last night, and the way the team was set up, and people, I mean, the likes of Graham Souness are going to, and we're blaming Callum McGregor last night for 2 bad tackles where he basically let the ball away last night in the first half. There was many bad players in the Scotland team last night, but it all comes down, on paper, that Scotland team was absolutely brilliant. On paper, that Scotland team could have had a real go if they were set up correctly. And it was interesting that you seen the Scotland captain go over to the manager at the end of the game and speak to him about, and it had to be about the way they were set up. You cannot play against top teams with such a midfield 4 so tight in the middle of the park. What I mean, the Germans were just putting 2 players the other side of the midfield 4, and you were picking off passes. And they were just picking off passes. It was woeful. And the fact that we're playing with a back 5 at times, and then the Germans are saying, okay, then we'll just put 4 up front. You're asking it for yourself. We should have flooded the midfield. We should have flooded the midfield and stopped. I mean, hats off to the Germans. They went for it for the very kickoff. They went for it for the kickoff. They weren't going to give us space. They were going to close us down quick. And the manager, let's face it, Stevie Clark's had one good job in his career. And he done well at Kilmarnock. And I'll tell you one thing. Where does Stevie Clark go after this? Because if Scotland get no points out of this competition at all, he has to go. And I don't care if he got us to a Euros. It's fucking, he got us to the Euros. He deserves his place in fucking history. That was woeful last night. And that was all down to the manager. There was nothing to do with the players themselves. The players are only doing what they're told, and they're playing the formation. And it was interesting that when we did get a free kick, that the Scotland manager was arguing on the touchline with the set-piece specialist in the Scotland camp. And I found that interesting. But anyway, it is what it is. Scotland are complete wash, as we're all saying this morning. And the whole nation's probably, well, apart from the unionist type ones that are probably following England in this one. I'll get killed for that one. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are. How do you think Scotland fared last night? How do you think that will fare going on in the rest of the competition? So as far as Scotland are concerned, they are bottom of the group with -4 points. Hungary and Switzerland, I can't even say that, can I? Hungary and Switzerland play today, 3 o'clock European time. I think it's 2, or is it 3 o'clock UK time and 4 o'clock, no, 3 o'clock European time, 2 o'clock UK time. Scotland sitting on -4 points, bottom of the group already with the first game to play. Hungary and Switzerland are sitting on no points. Nipwa. Sitting on Nipwa. You can see how this is going to happen, innit? Scotland, who went in as second tier, are currently sitting bottom of the group. But that could all change if Hungary and Switzerland end with, well, if they score more than 4 goals, it's not going to happen, is it? Scotland are still going to be bottom of the fucking group come tonight. It is all going to come down to Scotland, the Hungary and Switzerland games. And another game that is on tonight, a big one at 6 o'clock, Spain, Croatia. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch. I'll need to try and find somewhere to watch that. And then 9 o'clock tonight. So the games are going to be 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock European time. And then you've got Italy, Albania tonight. That looks like it'll be an interesting game. It's going to be good to start watching some football again. I might do some lives. I might do a live tonight actually for the Spain game. We'll see. We'll see how it happens because I need to sort out software and everything for this channel. Anyway, tell me your predictions for Scotland. Who do you really think? Who do you think will win the Euros? I think, honestly, my opinion is the fact that I think it's going to be a Germany-Spain final. That's my prediction for the finals already. I did say that last night. I thought that when you look at the teams, I think the Germans have got something to prove, and this young Spanish team also have something to prove. Although Scotland did beat Spain in the group stages, I just think that Spain will make it through to the finals. Germany, obviously, their team is just on fire, aren't they? But they were playing Scotland, people are saying. So anyway, Scotland 5, Germany 1. Scotland got 1 red card. What a start, eh? Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day, everyone, all Scottish fans all around the world. And if you're interested, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more European football over the next couple of weeks. And then as we go into the season, as the season starts, I'm going to start going to some football here in Spain and maybe around Europe. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how the mood takes us and where the channel takes us. Hasta luego.